This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, June 9, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Dollar-yen holds above 160.25, with gold rising 0.4% as safe haven demand builds. The Fed's hawkish stance and a VIX spike to 21.51, up 6.11 points, are fueling risk-off flows. The market is pricing in no rate cuts this year, per Goldman Sachs. Let's start with the recap. Grid, your call on cable was bearish, targeting 1.332, but the price stayed flat at 1.33478. What went wrong?
I focused on the 1.332 support level, but the market didn't break it. I missed the broader dollar strength and the Fed's hawkish stance. I'll be watching for a retest of 1.335 in the coming days.
SPECTER, you called cable bearish, targeting 1.33, but it stayed flat. What did you miss?
I was focused on the cable technicals, but I didn't factor in the Fed's stronger than expected data. The dollar is holding up better than I anticipated. I'm adjusting my approach to include more macro data in my analysis.
CIPHER, you called cable bearish, targeting 1.328. The market didn't move. What was the disconnect?
I was looking at yen flows and the Bank of Japan's stance, but I didn't account for the broader dollar strength. I'm shifting my focus to include more DXY positioning in my analysis.
Pulse, your call was bearish on cable, targeting 1.33. The market didn't move. What was the gap? I was looking at the broader risk-off sentiment, but I missed the resilience in the dollar. I'll be incorporating more DXY data into my sentiment analysis. Apex, you called cable bearish, targeting 1.33. The price stayed flat. What was the issue?
I was looking at the 5-day low, but the market didn't break it. I'll be watching for a retest of 1.335 in the coming days.
Let's break down the market. The dollar remains strong, with dollar-yen at 160.25 and gold up 0.4% on safe haven demand. The VIX is at 21.51, up 6.11 points from the prior session, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100 fearful. The Fed is still hawkish, with no rate cuts expected in 2026. Let's start with the news and macro context.
The VIX surge to 21.51 is a key risk factor. That's a 6.11-point jump. It's a sign of heightened volatility, which is not good for risk-on assets. The dollar is benefiting from this.
The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100, which is clearly fearful. That's consistent with the VIX spike and the dollar's strength. The market is clearly rotating into safer assets. What about the headlines? Headline 6 says dollar-yen is holding above 160 as traders look beyond the imminent Bank of Japan rate hike. That's consistent with the current price of 160.25.
Headline 7 says Goldman Sachs no longer sees the Fed cutting interest rates this year. That's a major shift in the macro narrative. The Fed is still hawkish, which is supporting the dollar.
Let's talk about dollar-yen. It's at 160.25, above 160. Grid, your take.
The 160 level is a key support. The pair is holding above it, which is a bullish signal. The 5-day low is at 159.59, which is a critical level. If the pair breaks below that, it could signal a broader bearish move.
The CFTC data shows leveraged funds are strongly bullish on dollar, with a net long of plus 4,438 contracts. That's a strong institutional position. The yen is also showing some bullish momentum, but not as strong as the dollar.
But the VIX is at 21.51, up 6.11 points. That's a warning sign. The market is still fearful and the dollar is benefiting from that. I think the 160 level is going to hold, but if the VIX continues to rise, that could change.
Moving on to euro dollar. It's at 1.1537, near the 5-day low of 1.14998. What's the story here? The euro dollar is under pressure, but the 1.14998 level is holding. The euro is weak, and the dollar is strong. The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are net short the euro, which is a bearish signal.
The 5-day high for euro dollar is 1.16454. That's a key resistance level. If the pair breaks above that, it could signal a broader rally, but right now it's still in a consolidation phase.
The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are net short the euro, which is a bearish signal. That's consistent with the current price action. The euro is under pressure and the dollar is benefiting.
But the euro is still holding the 1.14998 level. That's a strong support. If the pair breaks below that, it could signal a larger sell-off. I'm watching that level closely.
Let's discuss gold. It's at 4,334.9, up 0.4% on safe haven demand. What's the story here? The gold price is up 0.4% as investors flee to safety. The VIX is at 21.51, which is a sign of elevated volatility. The dollar is also strong, but gold is holding up well.
The CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are net long on gold, which is a bullish signal. The safe haven demand is strong, and that's supporting the price.
But the dollar is still strong, and the VIX is rising. That could put pressure on gold if the dollar breaks higher. I'm watching the dollar-yen and the VIX closely.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on dollar-yen. Let's dig into that.
Grid said the 160 level is a key support, but I think the VIX surge to 21.51 is a bigger factor. That's a sign of increased volatility, and the dollar may not hold that support if the market gets more nervous.
I agree that the VIX is a factor, but the 160 level is still a critical support. The pair is holding above it, which is a bullish signal. I think the dollar is still strong and the 160 level is going to hold.
I think the VIX is a key risk factor, but the CFTC data shows that leveraged funds are still bullish on the dollar. That's a strong institutional position which supports the dollar's strength.
Now, let's hear the 24-hour calls. My 24-hour call. Dollar-yen bearish. Target 159 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 159.59 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bullish, target 161.5 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 159 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 158.5 by next session.
The consensus is bearish on dollar-yen, with targets ranging from 158.5 to 159.59. The VIX and CFTC data are key factors in the analysis. What to watch tomorrow? The June 10 CPI data and the dollar-yen breakout below 160. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.